Hi and welcome to the EventLearning channel. This video we're going to continue building a show or a song with recipes. In the last video, which I'm going to link up here somewhere, you can see how we built a simple song using only recipes for our programming. We are building a song with 10-12 cues as far as I remember, and it has a lot of detail in it, but it's still kind of a simple song just to show you how everything works. But if you are like me, you would have a main song, like a sequence with 10, 12, 20 cues in it, depending on what you do. And next to that, I would have some buttons I could push for bumping colors in and out, maybe doing some movement, maybe doing some like split time effects and stuff like that. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to build that, still only using recipes. And I made a mistake in the last video. And at that time I actually didn't know it was a mistake, but I have been corrected in my comment section below by a friendly user, and I'm gonna tell you how to fix that simple mistake to make something even more simple in our programming as I did last time. So stick around for that, and let's just get right into the video. So as you can see over here, I made a view specifically for this session here. I have my 3D viewer here. I have an old preset here. We built this standard cue last time. I have room for some sequences we're going to build, and I have some quickies just to make things faster, speed things up just a little bit. I have here my sequence sheet with my recipe programmer beneath, and if you don't know how to open that, you go into the MA logo up here. You go into mask, and you simply just toggle this one on or off to show you the recipes below your sequence. So let's close this one, and then I have my playback section here. You can see the first 5 faders here. They actually represent the first 5 faders over here on my console. So this is what we're going to use today in this session. You can see right now everything is blue, and I just need to make like a bump cue for my washes in the roof. I have some, I think, auras or spiders or something up in the roof today, and I need to build a recipe bump flash thing I can use for this purpose. So I'm working down here, which is exactly the same as we are seeing up here. You can see faders or buttons 101 through to 105 here, and this should be exactly the same here. So I want to store something up here. I want to store an empty sequence so we can build a recipe from that. So if we go down to store and we press this button up here, I now have a sequence, and you can see there's a flash button popping up down here. So I want to go into it, and I can just push it. It's going to open up this window here, or I can just basically select it like this, and you can see it will pop up over here because this one is linked to the selected. So let's just start by giving it a name. We can say label and press this button here, and we can call it wash even, like this. And now I need to go in and define what I want it to do. So I go into my selection, I choose my wash even group here, and I need to tell it what to do, and I just want it to flash into white. So right now, if I push this one, they actually already go into white. So this is the first one. I just want to build another one. So if I say store here, and we can label that right away, like this, and we can say wash odd, and we do the same thing. We can just select it, so it comes up over here. We go into our first cue, and we select the odd group, and we select a color of white. So now I have a flash for my odds and my evens. In this group, I want it to work because if I turn my fader off, they're not going to do anything because they basically just take the color out. There's no intensity information in it. So I just want to add that just to be safe. So I just take this line here, I copy it and I paste it, and I give it a dimmer value of 100, and I select this one over here, do the same thing, I copy and I paste it, and I give it a dimmer value of 100. So now they work even though they are not turned on by any other sequence. So let's just take the fader up again, and you can see they work as intended. Above that, I want to put my my spots basically, just my odds and evens for the spots. So I need to do the same thing. I need to store a sequence. So I say store here. And you can see this one only takes up one block. I needed to take up more space. So I push it, I extend it up here, and I can define my keys here. I think I still need to just have a flash button here in the bottom. And this up here doesn't really matter right now. I don't want it to be a temp fader, I just want it to be a master. And I can just save this configuration I just did here. I can save it. And that means next time I store a sequence on a button like this, it's going to take these settings here and basically the same settings in here as well. I could store this one as a default as well if I wanted to. But right now I'm fine with the way it is, so I can select it like this, and I can rename it. We can just say label this one, and we can say spots odd like this. And in this case I only need the dimmer information, so I go in and I select my spots odd, and I give it a value here which is my dimmer at full. So now I should be able to, you see it's already happening, turning it up and down. Let's just do the next one as well. We store it here, and you can see it automatically takes up the same space now, and it's automatically a flash button because we changed the default before. So let's select, oops, yeah, now it's selected. I can just push it down here to select it. We need to rename it. We can do it down here. We can label it and say spots even like this, and we go in and we take the group of spots even, and we give it a value of our dimmer at full. So now we basically should have two here. That is our odds and evens for our spots. So what else do we need to do? It could be fun to have like a bump cue here to do something crazy with the ruxes here in the back. They are all blue now. It could be fun to just be able to make it be white like in a fan through the entire system. So once again, we just store a sequence. We can store it here, and we can already label it. We can say label this one here, and we can call it rux. We can call it rux flash, and we can make it flash like this, so we know it's going to go across this way, and we can build another one going the other way. But you can see now it takes up more space than we want, so we can just push it, go into handle, make it smaller, and this one we need to make a go because we're going to build a two-step sequence. Step one is where the color comes in, the white color comes in from left to right, or from right to left, depending on which one we are using. And the next step needs to release it again, so it actually takes it out so it looks like it's going through them. So lacking one-shots from our phaser functionality right now, we can do it with simple timing, delay timing. But I'll show you. So if we select this one here, we can basically just select it here, and we can give it a name. Here we can call it, oops, we can label it like this, and we can call it rux left to right, like this, and we should be ready to go. So if we select this one, it's already selected. We actually need two queues in this one, so we store a queue and we create a second queue. So now we have Q1 and Q2. Q1 we needed to, once again, we needed to turn on if it's not already on. So we need to take our ruxes, all of them, and we need to give it a value, a dimmer value of 100. And the next one, we copy and paste this in, and we give it a color, and we could give it the 10,000 Kelvin here. So now if I flash this one, they are all going to turn on. Basically I need this to be a go button. So if I go in here and I define go plus, it should be a go button, so it just turns on and nothing is happening in the next queue. So let's say we need this guy here to be delayed. We go into our preset. We want it not to fade, but we want it to delay from 0 to maybe 0.5 second. So if we say off to this one, you can see what's happening here, and maybe that's a bit too slow actually. We need to do it 0.3 seconds. So if we once again off it, you can see they come up like this. So this is turning it on, so we need to release this value again in the next queue. So basically we can copy these guys, because we already have the timing, so we copy it down into Q2 and we paste it in here. And I would say the dimmer preset here, do we have a release? We do. And the color preset, we should have a release somewhere here as well. So basically Q1 is just putting in a color and Q2 is just releasing it again. So let's see how that looks. We are in Q1. Let's just off everything again so we can see what happens. Q1 does this, Q2 does this. So now the only thing we need to do is link these two cues to each other. So the first one is go, the next one is a time of, let's just say 0.2 seconds maybe. So what happens if we push this one? You can see what happens. It goes from right to left. And the only thing we need to do is just build the next one and do it the other way. And it's really simple. So let's just store this guy, a new one here. Once again, we need to make it a bit smaller, and we need this to be a Go Plus button. We need to select it, so we can say select this one here, and we need to label it. We say label this one, and we say rocks, right, right to left. To left, like this. So we go into the first one here. We select the first one, sorry. It's easier when you're actually working on a console, because then you can easily select these guys. You can just select it here. So we go into the first queue and we take these two lines, we copy them, we select this next one here and we paste it in here. Then we store a second queue. We go back to the first one and we copy whatever is in Q2, like this. And we go back to the other one here and we paste that information in. So right now it's doing the exact same thing. We needed to flip around and do it the other way. And if we go into Q1, what we gave it here was a delay time from 0 to 0.3 seconds. We can just flip this on its head. So we say 0.3 here. Back. And we say 0. And we go into Q2 and do the same thing. We say 0.3 and we say 0. So now we have the first one going that way and the next one going the other way. Oh, something happened here. It's up here. I forgot the trick time. We go into time and we gave it a time of 0.2, didn't we? There we go. So we say off to this one way, the other way. So you can see how easy it is. Even though I make mistakes sometimes, this is really easy. So you can do all your bump cues and all your stuff. And maybe we should do one last thing where we maybe take them into white and move them up into the air. And as a 2Q thing maybe, and they go up and they turn off. We could do that. To build my air wash, as I call it, I just want Q1 to take them all up into the air and become white. And Q number 2, they are just going to go down again and be the original color. And for that I need 2 Qs. One Q could be taking them all up, bringing them into white, and the next one could just release the information in there. I just wanted to make it as a 2Q thing, but you could of course do it as a temp button, and you could have some off-cue timing on it. But let's just start building it. What I want to put into this stuff here is my washes. Let's just hide this here so we can see better. Let's just take all our house washes and let's start by giving it a value of dimmer 100%. We copy this, we give it a position of roof, and we copy this and paste it and give it a color of white like this. So now we build the recipe lines, they go up into the air. So if we off this guy here and we push it, you can see they go up into the air. But we need to split the timing a little bit to make it a little bit more interesting. So we go into delay from X, we set the delay from time to 0, and the to time, let's just put it into a second, and we can go in and give it a wing of 2. So let's see how that looks if we off this sequence here and we push it. They go up into the air in white, and now we need them to release again, but in the kind of the same way. So what we do is we just go back here and we copy these 3 lines. We go into queue number 2 and we paste it in, and we need to give it some other kind of value. So in the dimmer preset, we can just release the dimmer instead of doing anything other. That means if you turn it on in one queue and you release it in the next one, basically you give it a hard value to turn on in Q1, and you basically just releases the dimmer value again, and it's going to go back to wherever it got its dimmer value from earlier. The roof position we need to put back. I could add a release to my position as well. I didn't do that, so for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to put it into our position preset number 1. And the color of white, we need to release the color as well. So we just push this recipe preset here, the release color. We just clear everything, and we could just for the fun of it turn everything off. And we can say Q1, they go up. Q2, they release and go down. And of course you could do this in any way you wanted. And to go back to my mistake from last time, if I select my main sequence here, you can see in the first queue I point everything into an all preset. Not an all preset, but my recipe preset here. And if I open up this preset, it's a preset that's based on presets. So what I'm doing in here is just building recipes like I would in a normal queue. I put all my auras into a dimmer preset, into a position, into a zoom, into a color. I do something with my roxes. I give them a value at full and in blue. I give my CLFs on the side and in the back some information. My washes get information. My house spots get information. And then in my first queue, I point to each and every group here, which refers to this preset. And that's kind of a stupid way of doing it. And I hadn't thought of this, and this might make me stupid, I don't know. But somebody reached out to me on YouTube in the comment section and said, why don't you just point all your fixtures into that preset? Which is something we're going to try to do now to see if it's easier. So let's go up into our program window here, and let's select fixture 1 through, which is fixture 1, and then all the way up to the last fixture. They are all selected here, and we simply just store that into preset here, preset 6, and we label it all fixtures like this. And now we have a preset containing a group containing all our fixtures. Let's clear this stuff and go back to our show here. Our recipe playback show. And we go into our standard queue, and we can see all these different groups we are pointing in to the same all preset here, or the same recipe preset here. So let's try to delete all this stuff here. It's gone. We still have the roxes, and I think that is a mistake. Oops. If I say off to this sequence here and we go back into it, you can see they're now gone. So right now queue number 1 is not referring to anything. There's no recipe in it. So what the viewer said to me on in the comment section is, if you build an all preset and you have it contain all your fixtures, you can just point all your fixtures into the same preset. And for some reason my brain was not thinking like that, but it's actually a very good idea. And it's really simple. I select all my fixtures and I put it into my all preset here and into my standard queue, and you can see immediately everything is back. So thank you very much for reaching out in the comment section. This is how easy it is to refer into a recipe queue. You can just point all your fixtures into your recipe-based preset, and then it's only going to activate whatever is active in that preset. So if you missed all that about how we programmed a song in the last episode, once again, I linked it, I think, in the beginning of the show. you can see it, but you can also go into my playlist and just go 1 week back and watch the video there. So this is how I would also work with recipe, or how I also work with recipes in my show. There's many more things you can do. I have small things put on the small encoders to go back and forth in different sequences and stuff like that. If you need me to cover that in a tutorial, you're more than welcome to leave a comment down below. And if there's anything else you want to know, then just hit me up down there and I'll try to answer as many as I can. I do get a lot of messages all the time, so I'm not going to answer everything, but I try to answer my recent videos as much as I can until the next one comes up and the next one comes up and so on. So I hope you enjoyed this small recipe tutorial on the EventLearning channel. If you did, you're more than welcome to give it a like down there, and you are also more than welcome to subscribe to EventLearning and press the little bell icon so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. But I hope you're going to play with this at home, and if you do, I hope you can have some happy grandMA3 programming moments, and I'll see you in the next video here on the channel. Until next time, bye bye.